Hi, I'm Joan Newcomb, and today's Mystic Minute is what I know about dying. A couple years ago, I helped both my parents die in 1 year. And now the thing is, I'm not afraid of death because I talk to dead people, and so I know that it's not death. It's a birth back to spirit. And that really helped me hold the vision when I was helping my mother die and later being there for my father's passing. I was holding a bigger space for them, birthing themselves back to spirit. Now, as consciousness, you never die. You are always in existence. There is this moment of time that you focus yourself into form, and then you have this wonderful experience of being in a body. Being in a body is delicious. Being in a body, you have this physical reality, and you get to feel the sun on your face, and you get to hold your pets, your friends, your loved ones. It's a wonderful experience being here in body. Being here in body, you get to experience the emotions of the body. Bodies have got lots of feelings and also lots of emotions. It's a sensory paradise. And when you die, you get to experience who you really are in the first place. The essence of who you are. You get to return to your magnificence. It is this amazing, expansive experience of love. It is the essence of love. It is the essence of who you are. You can translate it as returning to God, but that's such a limiting definition of what the experience really is. It's as natural as being born. We all do it. And the thing is that you're not gone when you die. And I'm even discovering that aspects of your personality are not gone when you die. I just assumed in the past that you would pass into this infiniteness and lose those aspects of your personality. And yet they're still accessible by everyone who knows and loves you. They're also accessible by people who are sensitive. People who are sensitive to energy will detect that aspect. It's just the sad thing is that when you pass, people stop talking to you because they think you're dead. Suddenly my cousin Joan comes into my space and my Aunt Maurice comes into my space at the same time in the same vibration. That's really not what I intended to talk about today. I really wanted to reassure people because we get into this fear-based state. We get into this level of survival, and then we start this not only hamster wheel running, but our physical actions running. And the core part of that is because we're afraid of dying. We'll do stuff to avoid dying and also avoid dealing with death. There was one person in particular who was afraid to step into the room where my mother was dying and didn't step into the room after she passed. She's so afraid of that. My father was afraid of dying initially until he got the bigger picture and was in this complete acceptance at the end. It was amazing because he was very conscious the whole way through, knowing what was coming up. My mother had Alzheimer's. She wasn't aware of it. She was just going through this really natural experience, not really being aware of what was happening. And that was okay too, because at her greater self, she was totally aware this is how she was birthing herself back to spirit. I just had this flash. So my mother gave birth to all three of my brothers in the United States in the 1950s. And their style back then was to knock the woman out. So for all three of my brothers' births, she was unconscious. It was just for my birth. I was born in Germany. I was delivered by a Czechoslovakian doctor with a dueling scar that has nothing to do with the story, who didn't believe in drugs. So I was a natural childbirth in 1959. My mother was fully awake for my birth. I'm guessing she didn't want to be fully awake for her passing. And it's all good. It's okay. It's totally fine. This lifetime that you're experiencing as consciousness is just a blink of an eye. It is a session of jumping into the pool. Life is jumping into the pool, splashing around, and you get out of the pool when swim time is over. So really what that tells you is to savor every moment of this life, not because you might die tomorrow, but because it's here for you to savor, and savor your relationships in the physical, because that's where they're going to acknowledge you, but also that's where you really get to love them. That's not entirely true, because you do get to love them as essence. Your love never stops. Their love never for you stops either. And even if they're not talking to you at this level, the communication is always in existence. We're all united up here. We all up here. There is no direction as consciousness. It's just a little easier to define it when we're in the physical form, to place it up here. It's marvelously complex. And when you die, you'll get it. And if you're in this aspect of life where somebody you know is dying or facing the possibility of dying, it's really no more fearful an activity than giving birth. Now, all of us, when we've given birth, there's this moment you hit when you're in labor where you go, I changed my mind. And it's kind of like, too late now. And the baby comes out. It's that being is born in the way it's created its birth. Now, some of us create experiences where we come close to dying just so we savor life. We kind of get to have a do-over and go forward with savoring life. Somebody I know had a really massive heart attack a couple years ago, and they get to have more time here with their kids. It's a blessing. It's a wonderful thing. Now, when someone passes, it's also completely normal to grieve over it. It's completely normal. Your body is going to feel that separation. And your body is not comfortable with dying because it's the one that dies. But the greater aspect of you can hold that whole bigger experience and hold yourself through mourning that loss. Because as consciousness, it's not a loss. As consciousness, you're still connected. Your body misses the holding that person, and yet you can be comforted. Your body can be comforted if you open up to letting that presence be with you. You can experience a love that you may not let yourself have when you were in body with that person. You can experience a reconciliation. You can experience a greater aspect of relationship that is hard to have when we're in physical form, because we have personalities, conflicts, things happen. And as consciousness, there's no conflict. I think John Edward of Crossing Over says something like, appreciate and validate and communicate. While you're still in body is to appreciate, validate, and communicate with the people who are here. I would also say appreciate, validate, and communicate with them who've passed as well. It's a wonderful healing opportunity. So you get to talk about the things you never could talk about and reason things out, the things you never could reason out in physical form. Different religions, different personalities, different political parties, or whatever. The main thing to know is that this lifetime is swim time to consciousness. Enjoy your swim time while you're here. You're going to get out of the pool at some point, and you can get back in the pool. There's an aspect of you that's always out of the pool. So whatever you might be going through right now that caused you to watch this video, hold a bigger experience. Hold a bigger awareness. Because within you there is a bigger awareness. Hold that while everything else is going on. And communicate, validate, and appreciate. If you want to know more, my website is joan-newcomb.com. I put out a weekly radio show and podcast. I also write a weekly blog and e-zine. I do these videos a couple times a week. I do meetups around the Puget Sound in Seattle, Bellevue, Tacoma, University Place, Lakewood, and Olympia. And I coach people from around the world via phone and via Skype. If you want to know more about how to navigate your life as consciousness, discover your purpose for life, and regain your passion, you can go to joan-newcomb.com and look at my coaching programs. So go to joan-newcomb.com, and I'll see you in another couple days with another Mystic Minute.